All right, today we're tackling a massive topic, one of the most profound in Islamic tradition. We're going to explore the journey of the soul right after death, and then we'll get into the ultimate trial humanity is said to face. So, let's get right into it.
I mean, it's a question we've all probably wondered about, right? What happens in those first few moments? Well, according to the sources for this explainer, life doesn't just stop. It transforms. It enters a whole new and absolutely critical phase.
You see, the first step on this journey isn't the final destination. Nope. Between our world as we know it and the hereafter, there's this intermediate realm. It's a sort of waiting period that every single soul has to pass through.
This place is called Alam-e-Barzakh, and that name is perfect, really, because it literally translates to the barrier world. Think of it less as a physical grave and more as a state of existence, a bridge connecting the life we just left and the one that's yet to come. And what's really fascinating here is just how universal this is. It doesn't matter how a person's life ends, buried, drowned, consumed by fire, even scattered as ash to the winds, every soul enters Barzakh. There's actually this incredible story of a man who was so scared of judgment that he asked his family to cremate him. But God reassembled his every last particle and asked him, "Why did you do this?" It just goes to show there is absolutely no escaping this first stage of accountability.
So the experience in Barzakh begins in what we call the grave, and this is described as the very first stage of the afterlife. It's a place where truths are laid bare and the consequences of our actions start to unfold. The seriousness of this stage is, well, it's so profound that even the Prophet Muhammad himself is reported to have sought God's protection from its torment. And you have to understand, that wasn't just for him. It was a lesson for all of us, to show the true gravity of what lies ahead.
To really bring this home, the source material tells this incredibly powerful story. It talks about a man in his grave who was punished with just a single strike. That's it, just one.
And from that one single strike, his entire grave was engulfed in fire. The punishment was immediate, all-consuming, and a direct result of the life he had lived.
So that leads to a pretty serious question, doesn't it? What could a person possibly do to deserve such a terrifying consequence from just one blow? What kind of actions carry that much weight?
Well, the sources point to two major sins. First, he was just careless about his personal purity, something that was about his direct relationship with God. And second, and this is so critical, he literally turned his back on someone who was oppressed and crying out for help, even though he could have done something about it. The message here is huge. His failure was in his personal piety and in his social responsibility. Both mattered.
Okay, so